Frequency Podcast Network. Stories that matter, podcasts that resonate.
Conflict continues in the Middle East as Iranians wonder what's next for their country now. Hi, I'm Virjesh Dave. This is Big Headlines, everything you need to know to be in the know in just 5 minutes. Iran continues to be pummeled by airstrikes from the United States and Israel. Officials in Iran say almost 800 people have been killed there since conflict broke out over the weekend. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke to Fox News.
You're not going to have an endless war. This is going to be a quick and decisive action.
Israel says it's striking Tehran and Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Iran, meanwhile, has been firing back with counterattacks and counterstrikes on many targets in the region, including the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia, which was hit by an Iranian drone today. Iran's also targeting ships in the Strait of Hormuz, a huge transit point for the world's oil. Problems for shipping lanes there are leading to higher gas prices here in Canada. This week, U.S. lawmakers are debating whether President Donald Trump overstepped by attacking Iran. There's also a push within Congress to try and curb Trump's ability moving forward to order strikes on Iran without congressional approval. Democrats and a handful of Republicans in Congress say they oppose the strikes, some even calling them illegal because they were carried out without approval from Congress. Senator Mark Warner is the vice chair of the Intelligence Committee. He says the Trump administration hasn't shown any proof that Iran was an imminent threat to the United States.
When we are talking about putting American soldiers in harm's way, when we have American casualties and expectations of more, there needs to be the proof of an imminent threat to American interest.
Congress likely can't limit Trump's actions in Iran, though, without a two-thirds majority in both the Senate and House of Representatives. That would allow Congress to override a presidential veto as well. Iran's government and its people are facing an uncertain future. Iran's longtime leader and other top officials were killed in the U.S.-Israeli strikes just weeks after a deadly government crackdown on protests across Iran. The Big Story host Karen Ciolin speaks with Professor Nader Hashimi.
Power is distributed in Iran. It's institutionalized. It has many layers of support. And so simply hoping or believing, as genuine as that hope might be, given the human rights situation in Iran, that somehow an external military attack is going to create a political opening is just wishful thinking. There's a lot of people who study this type of this topic for a living, military strategists, military historians. There's not one case that anyone can point to where a deeply entrenched authoritarian regime has been toppled because of an air campaign. It requires a ground game, an organization, a military opposition that can challenge the regime and create political openings. And none of that exists right now in the context of the Islamic Republic of Iran. In fact, I would argue that as a result of this war, that the regime is going to emerge much stronger and much more unified than it was before this war started.
You can listen to the full episode wherever you get your podcasts. Also making big headlines, Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Australia as part of his multi-nation trade mission. It's his second of 3 stops on the trip, following several days in India. Carney met with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday. They agreed to billions of dollars in trade deals. Carney, however, canceled a planned media briefing just before leaving India, a pretty unusual move for a prime minister on this type of trip abroad. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand did speak to reporters, but she dodged questions about the conflict in the Middle East. After Carney leaves Australia, he'll make his final stop of the trip in Japan. A bus carrying Canadians was involved in a fatal crash in the Dominican Republic over the weekend. The bus was taking travelers from the Punta Cana International Airport to their hotels on Sunday night when it slid across the road and crashed. 2 people were killed and 19 others were injured. The Canadian Embassy confirmed there were Canadians on board, saying it's providing consular assistance. At the 32nd Annual Actor Awards over the weekend, Catherine O'Hara, who passed in January, won a posthumous award for Best Female Actor in a Comedy Series for her performance in The Studio. O'Hara's co-star and fellow Canadian Seth Rogen accepted the award on her behalf.
Pretty much every evening before she had a shooting day on our show, she would email me and Evan an email that always was pretty similar, and it said, "Hello, I hope you'll consider the following." And then there would be a completely rewritten version of the scene she was in.
Rogen won Best Male Actor in a Comedy Series for his role in The Studio as well. Well, now you're in the know. Thank you for listening to Big Headlines. Make sure you follow, share, and review Big Headlines. Today's episode was produced by Felix Slew. Enrica Amaturo is our lead producer. I'm Virjesh Dave. Have an amazing day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.